The poison was a living thing inside Xeona's veins, a sluggish, oily heat that turned his blood to lead. Despite the antidote, the edges of the world remained blurred, the towering pines of the northern forest leaning inward like spectators at an execution in an arena. His breathing was slow and measured, each exhale a thin plume of frost that vanished into the unnatural silence. The forest was stripped bare of life. No mountain cats prowled the thickets, no bandits, no orcs, no other dangers, and even the wind seemed to have forgotten how to howl. Beside him, Brannick Quicktoe was like a splash of colour, his plum-coloured tunic and gold-threaded lilac cloak looking more like a target than a traveller's attire. Xeona's cold green eyes drifted once more to the halfling's belt. It wasn't just the mechanical brass dart thrower anymore. Tucked into the fine leather were materials that spoke of a very specific, very lethal expertise. Coils of hair-thin copper wire, jagged steel triggers, and vials of a pungent dark oil. Trap ingredients. "Stop," Xeeona said. The word wasn't loud, but it carried the weight of a drawn blade. He planted his boots in the packed snow, his hand resting on the pommel of his unadorned shortsword. Brannick stumbled to a halt, his hands fluttering nervously. "Master Ranger, the village can't be more than a league. We shouldn't linger in the open." "You told me you were a traveller, a man of pluck," Xeeona rasped, his voice grating like stone on stone. He gestured with a sharp nod toward the halfling's hip. "A traveller does not carry sapper's wire. A man of pluck does not carry the components of a high-tier trap maker. And I assume that dart thrower didn't just find you, Brannick. You know exactly how it works." The halfling's bravado, usually as thick as his wool cloak, finally shattered. He looked down at the snow, his shoulders sagging. "I was a specialist, Xeona, in the south, under the service of a baron who valued things that didn't belong to him. I wasn't a petty cut purse. I was the one they sent when the locks were made of magic and the halls were filled with dangers." He reached for the blackened silver charm at his neck, his fingers trembling. "I quit that life. I took this thing because I thought it was just a valuable thing, a retirement fund. I didn't know it was a tether to a world that won't let me die. I haven't touched a tool of the trade since I crossed the border, I swear it." Xeona watched him, his gaze piercing through the haze of the poison still lingering inside his body. He wanted to believe the fear in the halfling's voice, but the dangers of the north had taught him that truth was a luxury the dying couldn't afford. They began to move again, but Xeona's senses were screaming. He noted a slight, nearly invisible disturbance in the white drifts ahead, a patch of lichen scraped from a rock as if by a gloved hand. He threw an arm out, catching Brannick's across the chest and pinning him back. "Don't move." Xeona knelt, his fingers carefully touching the top layer of snow. Beneath the snow lay a masterpiece of malice. A pressure plate of cold-forged iron was rigged to a series of tension springs. Coiled around the mechanism was the exact same copper wire Brannick carried, and the steel triggers were identical to the ones on the halfling's belt. If they had taken one more step, a dozen poisoned spikes would have driven upward, shredding muscle and bone. "Your craft," Xeona hissed, looking up at the halfling. His short sword was drawn now, the steel gleaming dully in the pale light. "Your wire, your triggers, explain to me why I shouldn't leave you as a bloody carcass here for the wolves." "I didn't do it!" Brannick's voice was a frantic whisper. "How could I? I've been in your sight every moment. I don't have the hands for this anymore, Xeeona. Someone is, or something is mocking me." Xeeona looked at the trap, then back at the silent, empty woods. The halfling was right. He hadn't left Xeona's side, which meant someone or something was moving ahead of them, something fast enough to scout their path before them, steal Brannick's own tools or use the exact same ones, and set a professional-grade ambush in the time it took Xeeona to blink. High above, nestled in the frost-laden branches of an ancient oak, the obsessive thief adjusted his cowl. He was a shadowy weight, his attire is a shifting tapestry of greys and whites that mimicked the winter forest. He watched Xeona's suspicion bloom into hatred with a quiet, brilliant intensity. He didn't want their blood yet. He wanted to see the ranger's discipline dissolve into the madness of betrayal. The thief leaned back, a thin, needle-sharp smile spreading across his face. He reached into a hidden pocket and toyed with another piece of a trap kit. The game was far more entertaining than the hunt.